Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Everything Imaginable with the Hackley Public Library. I am Christina Rowland, the Outreach Programming Librarian.
And I am Mallory Metzger, the Community Engagement Coordinator here at Hackley Public Library. And we are doing another segment of Book Club Rewind here for our podcast today. And the book, so last time we talked about Sweet Valley High and kind of our thoughts about that book. Today we are going to be talking about Meet Molly, which is an American Girl book. For those that are familiar or aren't familiar, the American Girl collection, this featured great stories showcasing girls from different eras in America and through all different time periods. And so Molly McIntyre, her time period was during World War II. And the thing that I really loved about these books in this series is obviously it was a fiction series, it was made up characters, but it kind of encompassed, everyday lives for people that would have been living during that time period, including children who would have been living during that time period. So for me as a kid, it really gave you the opportunity to see how kids lived years ago, during a time that we weren't around. And you could really incorporate history and education into fun and reading. And so that's one of the reasons I really loved American Girl doll books.
I feel like they are like a really good snapshot of a time period, and a really good accessible way for young readers to get introduced to history in like a I don't know how you would word it, like a
kind of an easier to understand way.
Yes.
Like it's more comprehensible than saying, here's a history book, read this entire history book.
And not everyone responds to like a nonfiction history book the same way, whereas this is told from like a fictional standpoint, pulls you in with a story with relatable characters. Maybe the readers can see themselves in Molly or some of her siblings.
Exactly.
So I think it's just a really, really good way of like easing kids into loving history. And I feel like now that I've read this, because I did not read these books growing up, I didn't even know they existed, and I didn't know about the dolls. And I feel like I would have loved the dolls if I had known. So I don't know where I was, although I was a Barbie kid, if I'm being honest.
Well, no, and and like I said, we all love different things. Like I did not have My Little Pony, and you said
That's
you had
right,
My Little
I did.
Pony.
I had all of them.
Yeah, and see, a lot of people love My Little Pony, but I love Barbie too, but I loved American Girl. I still have them. I still have my Molly doll and my Josefina doll. But it was just always fun because you could, read the stories, but then also play with your dolls and get the accessories that you read about in the stories, and just kind of have fun, interaction in person in addition to reading on.
That's really cute, and I love that it's like a whole thing, and there's a different character from multiple like time periods. It's just so clever. It is really, really cool. I love that, and it was kind of fun getting to experience this now, even though I am an adult.
No, but they're still enjoyable as an adult, and the one thing I don't like, and this is just my pet peeve, so they have changed some of the artwork. So back when I first read Meet Molly, this actually was, I don't know if you can see, it's Molly, but the artwork is slightly different. So when I first got this book through interlibrary loan, I was like, that's not right, because you can tell the picture is different.
You're like, that's not Molly.
That's not Molly, even though it is.
Funny.
But, and another thing is too, inside, another thing that I really love about these books is that it showcases the family members. So it showcases pictures of all the family members that are, talked about in the story, and it kind of gives you a snapshot view of each character. So it talks about the main, American Girl, and then her parents, any siblings she has, any extended family, friends, and it kind of, gives you a little highlight of what you'll see in the book, which again is a very good way
I appreciated this quite a bit because there are actually a lot of characters in this book for being so small. It's an entire family.
So. It really is. But, this is the first book in Molly's series. It's Meet Molly. And again, it kind of just talks about her life during World War II. Her father is overseas. She's here on the home front with her mom. her sister, her two brothers, Mrs. Guilford, who's the housekeeper, and her friends, and just kind of the antics that they go through, in a 1940s household.
Yes.
The thing that I thought was really interesting, when comparing this book to the Sweet Valley High book, they both have siblings. There's characters that are siblings. They both have, rivalries in some ways. It's interesting because with the Sweet Valley High, the rivalry was more, it wasn't very overt. It was kind of more like that manipulation back and forth. Whereas in Meet Molly, it's, her, Molly, and then her brother and their antics of their sibling rivalry, but it's definitely calmed. It's more like, throwing water at each other or trying to embarrass each other in a kind of a more homely way.
It's like a teasing, like these feel like real siblings, whereas the Sweet Valley books, like, would anyone really do to their siblings what Jessica did to Elizabeth? I don't know, but this feels way more realistic, like what two young kids would do.
Yeah, I mean, it really kind of, the rivalry starts here. So Molly and her two friends, Linda and Susan, they are trying to figure out what type of Halloween costume they want. And that's like a big conversation kind of right off the bat, in the book between the friends. And they eventually decide to be hula dancers. So they have their hula skirts, and very cute. They make them, which is awesome and amazing. I love that.
I did think it was funny that they went through some other ideas first.
Yes.
But the funniest part to me is that Molly really wanted to be Cinderella. Yes. But in order to be Cinderella with a group of 3, 2 of them would have to be the ugly stepsisters.
Yes.
So she obviously wanted to be Cinderella, but she couldn't quite figure out how to ask the other 2 to be the ugly stepsisters.
Right. Well, and I think also, if I can remember correctly, I think one of her friends had a dress that would actually be more Cinderella-like.
Yes.
And so Molly was like, well, wait a minute. I might not be able to be Cinderella because my friend has the better dress. So we should just nix that idea.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, so if she couldn't be Cinderella, then we're just not going to do that.
Right. Yeah.
Which I thought was
hilarious.
super funny and very realistic for a 9-year-old.
Exactly.
Her friends were fun.
Yeah.
That also felt very real.
Yeah, and it was kind of an interesting dynamic because one of her friends is a little bit, I think, quieter, kind of calmer, and one is, I forget the word they use, a schemer, kind of funny, kind of mischievous in a calm way, So it's just a lot of different personality dynamics coming together. But it felt to me very evenly toned. Like everyone, I think, is developed enough for this type of book. But, chaos ensues because their Halloween costumes are ruined by Molly's brother,
Ricky.
He puts water, or I think he throws water.
Somehow he gets all 3 of them drenched in water.
Yeah, before they can take a picture.
So sad because, one, they did them themselves, like they made them themselves. But the mom told them that they were so cute, and she wanted to take a picture to send to Molly's dad, who's overseas.
Right.
Or not overseas.
Yes.
Yes, overseas.
Yep,
overseas. In the war, 'cause he's a doctor, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they go trick-or-treating, they get all their little treats, and they come back, and that's when he ruins their costumes. And that's the first thing I thought of. Again, as an adult reading this, I immediately thought, oh no, the mom wanted to take a picture to send to her husband to bring, a little bit of joy to him during this time. Yeah. That's immediately what I thought of.
Yeah.
And as a kid, it would probably be like, oh no, their costume.
Like, my costume's ruined, but it's true. Thinking of it as an adult perspective, you think about, oh, now I can't share this with my husband, her father. He's, over there in very dangerous conditions, and he's not able to see these memories being made. So it kind of hits home differently in a sense. But, again, the antics are very subdued, just very normal, kind of everyday antics that you'd expect among siblings. But Molly and her friends do eventually get back at her brother because he actually has a crush on a gal named Dolores.
Who's their older sister's best friend.
Yes, they're Molly's older sister, Jill. It's her friend. And she's over visiting at one point, and Ricky goes outside. I forget how it all, comes together, but his laundry ends up outside. I think Molly and her friends throw it out.
They go into his room.
Yes.
They gather all of it, the clean stuff and the dirty stuff, and they throw it out the window.
Yes.
It lands on Jill and Dolores.
Yes.
I think it's all over the yard or something, and do they do the whole I See London, I See France thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they basically draw attention to the fact that they've thrown his underpants all over the yard.
Which you can imagine at any age, but of course at that age it's embarrassing, especially in front of someone that you have a crush on, you know, and it's kind of like that, oh my gosh moment of feeling like you kind of just want to crawl in a hole. And of course then Molly and her friends are feeling victorious because they were able to get revenge.
It's pretty good revenge.
It is.
Like, I'm not even gonna lie. I was impressed. I didn't know what they were gonna do. I didn't expect that, but I thought that was really funny. As an adult, I probably shouldn't, but I thought it was funny.
But hey, no, it was hilarious. But the thing at the end of the book, they do apologize to each other.
Yes.
They reconcile. And the thing that I did enjoy about this is it does seem like there was apologies from both sides. And there was reconciliation that seemed even and balanced. Yeah. Which, to me, with Sweet Valley High, was not the case.
No. This feels more like a real family.
Yes. Yeah.
A real snapshot of a real family going through real things.
Well, and also just kind of tying in the history, you know, they would receive letters from Molly's dad. And so they would gather together and read the letters. And again, something that I do love about this series, not only do they show, you know, the fictional pictures of the characters, but in the back of the book, they have looking back, a peek into the past. And it shows some photos and some information about actual things happening during that time period. So not only are you learning about these historical happenings throughout the book, but you can also see photographs and read real tidbits of information from that time period, which again just really highlights the mixing of entertainment and education together.
Yeah. So. I wonder how many young people were inspired to like become history majors or something from reading these series. I think that would be really a neat little statistic to find out.
That'd be very interesting. And I wouldn't doubt that it did have a good, hold on a lot of people's interest in what they ended up doing. Because, I mean, it was pretty popular. And even today, though, I mean, it's funny, I've seen, you know, there's kind of been a resurgence of some of the vintage type American Girl, you know, characters and their materials, and seeing it in things even for adults that, you know, that adults can purchase, and it brings you back. It's that nostalgia factor. So it's something that I think will live on very strongly for a long period of time.
Now, I do have to ask, I think I've already asked you this before, but I got to ask again.
Yes.
Was it the dolls first and then the books, or the books and then the dolls, or was it a simultaneous thing?
So it was, for me, my recollection, it was the dolls first, but I think when I got Molly, I also got the Meet Molly book.
Okay. Did it come with the doll, or was it like two separate
Yes, I got them together.
Nice.
Yep, so I got Molly one year for Christmas. But I think for me, I just loved my dolls so much that my memory is more focused on loving the dolls.
I could see that.
Yes. And then, you know, just the books were just that great additional thing that I had where I could learn about the history and learn about the characters.
Yeah. So what else happens in her series?
So actually, I'm rereading this book now too. There's a book where it's going to be Molly's birthday, but another character is introduced, and her name is Emily. And she's English, so she's actually coming over to America. She was going to stay with her aunt, but her aunt has pneumonia, or I believe is sick. And so Emily ends up staying with the McIntyres for a period of time. And, you know, initially Molly and her siblings and Molly's friends and even the kids at school are like, oh, wow, cool, you know, you're from England, you know, hey, do you like this, this, and this? But it's a totally different scenario in America versus what is happening in England. And so Emily comes over and she's very quiet, she's reserved, she's been through a lot because as you can imagine, the war is happening in real time in her neighborhood. And Molly and her friends, for fun, you know, they know about what's going on, you know, with the war through their family members and through, you know, the radio, but they kind of don't know the vastness and the gravity of what it really means. And they built a bomb shelter in their basement, you know, out of, I think it was like blankets. But then when Emily comes over, she doesn't see, you know, the joy in that. She has memories of what it actually feels like to be under attack. And so it's kind of that interesting dynamic, but then them developing a friendship. and learning from each other.
That's actually a really great way to also like introduce empathy to kids.
Yes.
Like just like your lived experience is not the same as someone else's lived experience. And this is why it's important to get to know someone and think about something from their perspective before you do something or act. Yep.
Exactly.
That's a really, really great way to show that from these books.
It really is. And like you say, it's a great way to learn that while not even really realizing that you're learning it. You're kind of learning it as you go, and you might not realize it until much later that, oh, hey, that was a moment of comprehension and understanding something that you didn't necessarily know at the time.
So then does Emily also have a doll?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So actually there are umpteen dolls, like so many dolls. Initially there were 5. So initially there was Molly, Addie, Samantha, Felicity, and Kirsten. And then other dolls were added, other American Girl dolls, but then also some of their friends. I do believe Emily was made into a doll. I'm almost positive.
That's cool.
But then, you have so many other books that are more modern, with more modern characters. You can have an American Girl doll that looks like you, so you can kind of have them made into who you look like, which is pretty cool. So yeah, it's really grown. I mean, it's never really faltered. From what I've gathered, it's only become more popular as the years have gone on.
That's really cool. I wonder, I mean, obviously the series is still popular. We have I think so many of them here at Hackley. So I wonder how many of them actually go out, and if I bet they do, but I would say I wonder if kids have their favorites.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
Yeah, is Molly your favorite?
So I would say Molly is my favorite. I also really enjoyed Josefina. I didn't read as many of the Josefina books, but I loved my Josefina doll. I actually got her one year when we went to Chicago and we went to the American Girl doll store, and I loved her. So she is from the early 1800s in New Mexico.
Oh, very cool.
Josefina Montoya. But yeah, Molly I think will always be my favorite because she was my first doll, and I didn't have glasses, but I have brown hair. She had brown hair, so I kind of felt like we were similar.
You can kind of see yourself in the doll.
And I loved her clothes. She had this cute skirt with, the cute hat and the...
oh, yeah, like the jumper?
Yes, yeah.
Yep.
Cute. And what's this pattern? I can't remember what that pattern is. It's like Argyle?
It does look like Argyle.
Yeah, it was just so cute.
She is really cute.
Isn't she darling?
Her little buckle shoes.
Yes, I just loved her. And I had some matching outfits. So she had a Christmas dress that was green velvet, and then I had a Christmas dress that was exactly the same. It was green velvet. Cute. I would take her everywhere with me.
I love that.
So yeah, this is definitely, it holds a great place in my heart. It's very nostalgic for me. I loved it, and they're still great. Rereading this book, it was funny. It was... it was just a cute story, and also very great with sharing history.
It feels like a comfort read, for sure.
Yep.
One more question. Again, I did not read these when I was a kid. So you mentioned that Molly has a birthday.
Yes.
Does she age throughout her series, or does she stay like in the 9, 10?
It's around the same age.
Okay.
Yep, it stays around the same age.
I was just curious if it like followed her as she grew up or not.
No, from what I recall, it's just roughly around the same, give or take a little bit.
I could see the benefit in that.
Yeah.
And a little snapshot again of this child's life during that time period.
Exactly. I definitely recommend reading any of the American Girl books. But start with Molly because it is my favorite. But, let us know if you've read any. What are your favorites? Or if you are looking forward to reading some, let us know which ones you're reading, if you're reading some with your family, or just kind of, doing a nostalgic read and reading some from your childhood. Let us know which ones you like best.
Yeah, and again, for our Book Club Rewind series, if you have recommendations, books from your childhood you would like us to read and give our thoughts on, we would love for you to give us some of those suggestions. So please put some in the comments for us.
Yeah, that sounds good. Well, we hope to see you soon at Hackley Library. And again, watch for more podcasts to come in the near future. And we will see you later. Let me know when you're ready. I'm ready.
Okay.